Okay, so here we are, and right now all you're seeing is the top. So it's great that I can lift it off. So I've taken off the top. I'm going to turn the fairy house over on its side so that you can see what I'm working on. I don't need to work on my felt base because I'll be working just very specifically here on the project itself. So we don't need to worry about having that foam pad to protect the table or my lap. What I'm going to do first is take some of this very rough spun yarn here, and I'm going to create some steps, or the look of some steps going up to this front door. And to do that, I am just taking and building up a back and forth layer a little bit at a time. I'm going to grab my needle, and I'm using my size 40 needle. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm using my size 40 needle because I want this to grab hold a little bit more finely. And I'm just, using the same rules for needle felting. Let my elbow do the work, come out of the fiber the same direction I go into the fiber, and always know where my non-stabbing hand is. Now the nice thing about working on this piece is that I've got areas where it's nothing but felt behind, which is great. The bad thing about this piece, it's built on an old wire spring, and so I've got to be careful when I get close to that wire spring that I don't stab my needle into it. And I'm just, doing a back and forth kind of thing here with the yarn. It's a nice rustic kind of yarn. It's meant for rugs, but it's working out beautifully for looking like, sort of the steps leading up to the front door of our fairy house here. And I'm just going back and forth and back and forth. And that's Emmeline squeeing upstairs. She is very strong-willed, and that's a good thing, and I'm going to do everything I can to encourage her to continue to be strong-willed, because you know what? The world needs more strong-willed women to be able to jump in and take charge and make a difference, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that this little girl grows up that way. But, it's just the illusion here, back to our felting project, just the illusion of having some, stepstone stairs. Ooh, alliteration, so early in the morning, and I haven't even had my first cup of coffee. But this is a nice way to give that look of steps leading up to the front door here. Now this is going to be a lamp. It's hollow, okay? And I've got a lamp kit from IKEA that will have the small lamp fitting here and shining down so that the base will light up when it's turned on. It also makes it nice because it's got a very small cord, so it can just fit underneath the edge here without any problem at all. And when I get done with all of the extra little embellishments, I'll be adding, little windows up along the length of our little fairy house, and adding probably either some sequins, or I might be adding some lucite flowers so that it looks like flower boxes sitting underneath each of the windows going up around our mushroom. And because of the way I created this, there are thicker bands and thinner bands of wool going along here. And so what I'll probably do is have the windows showing up in these thinner bands so that the light can shine through there. I'm going to play with that at first, just to see, if I like that idea or if I want to change my mind and make the thicker bands where the windows are. But this is going to be all tricked out with little garden, down below, all surrounding the base and windows. And we've got the little mushrooms on the side. And we're just going to have fun with this. This was just sort of a spur of the moment kind of project. And I've liked it so much that I think that there will be others. And they'll be for sale on the website at some point in time. Got to make them first, right? But I thought that I would make a couple with the traditional, you know, red with white dots. When I was a kid in Germany, that was sort of the standard mushroom look that you got. It was sort of that, you know, fairy tale castles, you know, enchanted forest kind of thing that we saw a lot of when I was a kid in Germany. And I just wanted to sort of replicate that childhood memory of, you know, Black Forest and Sleeping Beauty and the Brothers Grimm and all of that good stuff. Now you'll notice I'm close to the wire of the spring here, so I have to come in at an angle so that I'm not hitting that wire with my needle. And it's just a matter of working that right along the edge. And so there we've got our nice little stair-step entryway. And I can come in here and I can sort of play with the edges, make them look a little bit more uneven so that it looks like natural stones there. But that'll give us that nice entryway going up to the door there. Now the door needs a little bit of work. The door needs to, whoops, got my finger. The door needs to have some lines on it and give it some dimension. It's got a little depth to it because I've got an extra layer of pre-felt underneath the brown so that it'll stand out a little bit more. But there we go, there's our stairs leading up in the doorway. And I think that if I do this around, it might be too heavy. What do you think? Is that too heavy? Or do you think that that would give a good door frame for our door? I don't know, it kind of continues on with the steps. I kind of like it, but I think I want to look for a thinner section. Oh, that's good. That's nice and rustic. You know, that's the one thing about using yarn of different types when you're creating something like this. You can, especially when you're using handmade yarn, you know, hand spun yarn, because you can find the texture that you're looking for just by finding a different segment of the yarn. And I think I've got another piece of the spring underneath there, so I need to be careful, and I'll run across that in regular intervals here. But I think framing this door out with that rock look is going to be exactly what I wanted to do for the door frame here. It's going to give us some texture that'll make it, you know, look rustic, like it's got rocks that have been built along the door frame edges. And it'll add just that much more gravitas to the door, make it look more like the entrance to this wonderful little fairy cottage that it should be. And let's take off this bit of fluff and work the rest of this down here. All right, that's about where I need to cut it. So I'll come in with the scissors and just trim it off. And you notice I'm not working fast, I'm working rather slow for me because I don't want to go stabbing hard into any of that spring that's underneath, working as the armature for our house here. And there we go, we've got a nice door frame going here. get close to that armature, whether it's a spring like I've used for this fairy house or whether it's a different kind of armature, always work slow and work at an angle. Sometimes a 45-degree angle is just what you need to sort of slide past that armature and make it possible for you to do the work that you want to do. I am thinking that right now, and I don't have any handy, darn it, I'm thinking I want to use some lines of black here just to give, and does it have to be black? I don't know. Does it have to be black? I've got some little pieces of silk threads here. I don't think it's gonna work, but I can try. And we can take it, or maybe, let's try this. Let's try pulling apart that handspun that we use to make the rock. And will that just might work. All right, let's try that. Let's see how that works. I'm just giving it a little spin. I'm gonna try and make the front door look like it's made from pieces of wood or bark or whatever. I mean, it's a fairy house built on a mushroom, so I doubt it's going to be wood, but it might be bark. And maybe using this tiny little bit of this handspun, same handspun that we used for the rock frame for our door and the steps leading up to our front door. I think this is going to work beautiful. And then these little extra pieces down here at the bottom we can just put into the stairs. And this is giving us just exactly that texture that I was looking for. And I'll make another line here in a second. I want to make sure I've got this nicely felted in. All right, let's get another piece. Just giving it a light little twist. Coming in again, nice and straight, or as straight as we can, just to give us the look of pieces of slats making up that door. I like this a lot. And because it's using the same color, only a smaller bit of it that we used for the stairs and for the door frame, it makes it look like it goes together. I like this a lot. All right, I need one more piece. Not a long piece, just one more piece. It can be tricky when you're working with yarn that was created for rug wool, because oftentimes the reason it was used to spin into wool for rugs is because the staple length isn't very long, or it's relatively coarse compared to other wools that you would use for, you know, different types of projects. And so sometimes you'll get really, really short pieces that you have to work pretty deliberately to get them to stay into place. But the texture of the roughness of the wool and the colors that you get when you're using rug wool for something like this just add an extra little bit of dimension to your project. So I'm liking this. Gonna need a big old handle, and of course I'm gonna use the same wool here because it'll just look like we've got a rock for the handle. And let's see, I just got it sort of gathered up, and it's gonna be a little oversized. Oh, should we do a door knocker in the center? Oh, I like that idea. All right, let's try a door knocker. So for that, we're gonna need to get a pretty thick amount, and I'm kind of getting it here in the center just to get us started, and then I'll twist and turn it so that it makes it a little smaller. Maybe. I don't know, maybe this isn't what I want. No, I don't like it. It's taking over too much. So let's take a small piece and let's just add a handle right here. Now when you're going in and doing, you know, sort of a small little pinpoint piece, whether it's a door handle or whether it's maybe the iris and the pupil of an eye, the more you focus your stabbing into the center of where you want that item to be, the tighter in those pieces are going to come. And then you come at it again from that right angle, that 45-degree angle, sorry, and you go around it just to make it pop out a little bit, and then you can add a little bit more on top of there until it gives you the dimension that you're looking for. And so I'm going to add just a little bit more on top, and I'm just stabbing right here in the center, bringing in the pieces, building up that handle, and then coming in at that 45-degree angle to give it that dimensional look. If you've got loose ones, sometimes just lightly swirling will help you pull those extra little fibers in. But there we go. There's our handle for our fairy door house. And there's our stair steps. And we've got the house framed out, we've got the steps leading up to the house, and we've got a little texture on the door. And that's you know, a nice little bit of progress. Now, windows, I think I'm gonna make the windows round to sort of emulate the roundness of the mushroom caps, but I don't know if I should make them big windows like this, or if I should take something smaller to make the windows. And I'm thinking about cutting circles out of some of this silk paper that I made yesterday and seeing if it would needle in. And I think I'm going to try that real quick. These will work. Oh, these work really well. All right, I'm kind of impressed, because when I was cutting the pieces of silk to create these yesterday, these scissors didn't work very well. I'm just using a button as my guide for making a circle here. And I don't know if this is going to work out or not. This is an experiment to see how it works. Okay, and so this is a lighter area, so this is a lighter area too. So this would be where we would have a window living. And I don't know if the silk is going to needle felt in or not, but I'm going to try it here. Using my fine needle. This is still the size 40. And it works, but it's going to need some more detail. It's going to need to have a rim, and I'm probably going to have to use pencil roving for that. But this will give it the look of a window, I think. And because this isn't an item that's going to necessarily be handled a lot, you know, the on and off switch for the lamp will be on the cord away from the lamp. The lamp's not going to get, you know, moved around a lot. But I don't know. That kind of gives us a window there a little bit. And I think it'll come out as soon as I build up, maybe put in the flower box underneath it, build up a window frame here. I think that's going to work. But we'll have to play with it and continue on with that. But there's a nice little update to our fairy house lamp. And then with the top on, we've got the complete look, and we'll come back again. Maybe next Thursday will be another Throwback Thursday, and I'll show you a little bit more of where we're at on this. And we'll continue our experimenting with felting and have some fun with it. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching us add some details to our little fairy house. And if you want to know more about felting and how I teach it and my membership group, head over to stabthingsintoexistence.com and check it all out. We'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye.